Hello, welcome along. I'll just give you a few minutes to log on if you've not quite got yourself sorted yet. 45 minutes till kick-off. Welcome to Chairboys Live, match day. Actually live, you can see we're in Studio One. I thought we'd go back to basics this time round. I understand that I'm one of the very lucky people to be down here at Adams Park tonight, which is brilliant. As I say, I know I'm very lucky, but I'll be honest, I miss you. I miss chatting. I miss being in the Chairboys Village. Miss being in the Caledonian Suite, seeing what's happening, seeing what you're thinking about how we've played, if we've done well, how you think we could do better, maybe what we need to do going forward. 8 games in, 45 minutes till kickoff. I don't know if you've seen the team news yet. Big news kicks us off. Let's just run through that before we bring in our special guests. In goal, Ryan Allsop. We've got Jack Grimmer, Joe Jacobson, Anthony Stewart, Knight in there as well. You've got Wheeler, Horgan, Thompson, Dennis Adeniran, and up front, Akin Fenwa and Scotty Cashgett. Scott Cashgett, the man who has scored both of our league goals so far this season. So yeah, we're going back to basics. Let's just crack through a few of these. Hello, David Bassett. Lovely to see you. Nice that you're there, mate. Hello. Jack Stedman, who's gone bold nice and early. If we keep a clean sheet tonight, he'll get Allsop's face tattooed on me. It's nice to see that. Well, I'll hold you that as well. Hello to Tyler Jewett as well, who says Akinfenwa was playing. Yeah, it's the big news. Not just playing, not just up front, making his championship debut as a starter. Also, he's got the captain's armband. Big news. Kick-off at 7:45. We'll be here till 7:30. As I say, we're taking it back to basics. I want to chat to you. I want to see you on this screen. I'll stick the link up in a little bit. You won't just be chatting to me. You'll also be chatting to our CFO, the wonderful Pete Kuhig, who is here to answer any of your questions within reason, I want to say. Hello, Pete. Welcome along. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm a little nervous. I've been under quarantine for 12 days, and I got about 30 minutes notice. I was going to be co-hosting Chairboys Live with you. Woo-hoo!
Well, there you go. I thought, as I say, we played 7 games. It's been a tough season to start us off, so I just thought I would open the floor, really. So within reason, we'll have some questions just to see how things are going behind the scenes from you. Just get your build up from the game. You are quarantined though. You took your moment. You had a little break home. How was old Louisiana?
Louisiana was fantastic. It was a great trip home. Saw family, friends. Had a really good time, and it was well worth the lockdown quarantine I've been under over the last 12 days, and I've only got 2 more. Thank God.
We'll see you here for Sheffield Wednesday, fingers crossed. Well, listen to this. Look at what Lee says here. Under the new lights. That's right. It's the debut of the brand. This has made waves.
3/4 of the new lights. We still
okay.
There is a scheduled. The 4th pylon is proven troublesome. There are some electrical wires that go over. I need to apologize to the whole of High Wycombe, who are going to lose power for 1 to 2 hours on a couple of nights here coming up to get that done. But,
there you go. 3/4.
But the 3/4 are light enough with the old 4th pylon. Everything fits. Everything looks great, and everything works for Sky. So there we go.
Well, listen, if you're watching this, if you're in Wycombe, which I would imagine you're somewhere close by, just do us a favour, have a little peek out your window, see if you can see a huge beacon of light from Sam's Way. Yes, let's do it, Pete. Let's go. You give it a go. In the YouTube comments, stick your head out the window. I mean, this is very niche, isn't it? But
it is normally. Well, you see the blue there. It's normally a little bit more that way, right over there. I can't really. I can see a light glow. I can see a light glow over the hill. There's just another little valley on the other end of Wycombe that holds Adams Park.
Well, there we go. And we could sit here talking about lights all day, but we got a game on in 40 minutes.
Yes, we do.
So let's head pitch side now, and we'll chat to Matt, who is there, who's going to bring us. I mean, we've got the team news. You can see it in the ticker just below where you're watching. But let's get a little match preview. Sess, how's it going down there?
It's all right. It's still eerily quiet, Dan. As you can imagine, Adams Park is, it should be full, and it would be tonight. Watford coming to Adams Park for the first time in nearly 20 years, I think, or over 20 years for a competitive fixture. and instead, everybody can hear me talk here, which is just eerie. It's just wrong. But I mean, let's talk about the game itself. A tough test, and off the back of I'd say an unlucky week in terms of performance and refereeing decisions against Millwall and Reading and Norwich. You'd love to come into a game against maybe a side around us near the bottom of the table where you think, hey, we can really kick on, right those wrongs and go and get the 3 points tonight. Watford, if anything, might be a step up from Norwich on Saturday. But if there's one thing we learned from the team on Saturday, they've reached the level now. They can compete in the Championship. And with the best teams in the Championship, because Norwich, all the media around me, their media guys admitted they were lucky to get that win in the end. Our performance matched them. We solved problems during the game. We went down early on and really clawed our way back. We should have had a penalty. We can harp on about refereeing decisions all we like. But the boys have proven themselves really well so far. And I think that's why when you look at the team news at the bottom of the screen, the gaffer hasn't made wholesale changes. No real need to change the personnel because everybody deserves a place in the side. I think that started the game and the subs that came on as well. But there is that one change, and it's the big name, the big man, Adebayo Akinfenwa, coming in to lead the attack tonight. His first ever start at Championship level, and he's been given the captain's armband as well to really lead by example from the front and to give Watford a problem they won't have had so far this season. He started his career, I believe, or maybe in one of his very early clubs as a teenager, Bayo at Watford, and he comes up against them today, leading the line. And as you can see, the rest of the team, same back five of Allsop, Grimmer, Jacobson, Stewart and Josh Knight. The midfield, very fluid, isn't it? But Curtis and Dennis are the more defensive-minded. Then you've got Wheeler, Kashket, who's growing in confidence with every game that goes on. He's really adapting to the level. Who did I say? Wheeler, Kashket and Horgan as well. Darryl Horgan, an accomplished player in the Championship with Preston previously. So there's real strength in the Wycombe side. Equally, there's real strength in the Watford side. You only have to look at Ben Foster, Tom Cleverley, Craig Cathcart, three names there. Etienne Capoue, who was at Spurs, who played in the Premier League, regular football at that level. This lot are a strong side, but Gaz and Dobbo have got a plan. And that plan is going to take down Watford tonight. You better believe it.
Well, let me ask you this, Cess, just because, and I don't want to incriminate you in front of your boss, but you've seen more of Wycombe than I would imagine anyone else so far this season. From what you've seen, as you said, we don't need wholesale changes. What little things would you like to see tweaked on the pitch against Watford today?
Dan, we're supposed to prep these questions before you drop the bombs on me like that. Look, I think in the
never question the gaffer.
And I'll include 8 because I think against Brentford in the cup we certainly matched them as well. So it's 8 games really against Championship opposition that we've had. Blackburn and Swansea outclassed us, and I think we'd hold our hands up that early on in the season we hadn't reached the level, and we probably weren't ready to compete with those teams. What would we do differently to compete? Well, you've got to be clinical in both boxes, certainly, and get the top shots on target, test the goalkeeper. That's maybe the only thing lacking from the performance on Saturday was we scored the one goal. We could have had a penalty, yes. Fred had a shot that flashed wide. I don't remember Tim Krul making too many big saves. So maybe the boys just having a bit more confidence in themselves, getting the shots away, because we've seen...
Oh, he's dropped off. Well, there you go. I mean, I know I didn't want to throw him in it like that, but if you come on Share Boys Live, you've got to answer the big questions, Pete.
Yeah, there are questions. You can talk around certain subjects, but the way that you phrased it with, what would you have done differently? I mean,
no, I never said no. I said, what would you like to see tweaked?
Oh, tweaked. Okay.
I said tweaked, here and there.
Because I got to tell you this: the boys have grown every single match that we've seen in the Championship. Is it frustrating to be sitting on 0 points? Yeah. It is, man, because when you look at, and I'm going to throw some analytics at some folks right now, expected points, we're at like 4.5 right now. The expected points table is pretty pleasing to watch, to look at, because it kind of represents how we played,
Yeah, I think Neil's got it right, doesn't he? I think Neil's got it right there. Matt's done a classic I'm going under a tunnel, hang up thing there. Well, listen, stay there if you're watching. We will get you involved in just a sec. The link should be coming up underneath in 2 ticks. Let's just wait for Matt to run somewhere where he's got Wi-Fi. But on your end, Pete, how are things getting on in the club behind the scenes? I mean, we've seen loads of changes, not just the lights, loads of changes happening. How have you, in kind of management, I guess, behind the scenes, adapted to life in the Championship?
Well, the last month has been a little weird because we were basically planning on a test event and then moving into letting the fans in, um, uh, because every indication that we had been given was that we were going to be doing that. And so we had everything ready. We had all the plans prepared. We had met with all the groups, and then Boris pulled the plug on that. And so. We're ready to let fans in. Over the last couple of weeks, we're starting to explore, and we are seeking approval to have fans in certain sections and in the boxes and in areas of Adams Park during away matches. But obviously, everything that we do at the club has to fit within COVID regulations, and so. Generally speaking, we wake up every day trying to figure out the riddle of how do we create turnover for the club in the existing environment. So, and then on the player side, obviously we've done a lot of work. Gareth and Dabo and the crew have done an incredible amount of work, and Sam has done an incredible amount. We probably brought 40 or 50 trialists in during the last couple of months. Obviously, we've had some very fruitful results of that process with Annis getting a couple of appearances. Everybody's been extremely impressed by the guys that have joined the squad. I really, I'm with Rob. I don't like the B team name. I think Sam came up with prospect. I really think it's the team, and it's because those guys are 18 to 20 years old. They don't count against the current squad cap for championship, which is limited to 25 players above 20 years and above. And so one of the reasons that we thought that we really looked for 18 to 20-year-old players to join the team was that 46 matches over the schedule that they've given us over this year, which is a shorter time frame than normal, is going to cause an extreme amount of stress on a 25 player squad. And so to have players come in and survive that process to where and you can see it in training that and I hesitate to call them boys, but they're 18, 19, 20-year-old boys who are playing with our guys every single day, and you can see them learning and developing. And Annis is a perfect example of a kid who proved himself very quickly within the group, and to see him step onto the pitch for Wycombe a couple of times is really a testament to what Richard and Gareth and the entire team has been talking about all year, and what we've done with Sam since he came on. It's the only one of the disappointing things about Norwich is Annis was a youth player at Norwich. Sitting at home watching that match, I just kept kind of hoping Annis was going to get in there, but it didn't work out. But he's already seen a couple of times on the pitch, and so just to see him warming up before that match, I can only imagine what it felt like for a kid like that to go from being let go by an academy at Norwich, catching on with a club like us and impressing everybody enough to be able to be named in the squad at Carrow Road. It must have just, I can only imagine, every time he thinks about it, he probably gets goosebumps. And so it was really good to see. A lot of good work has been done over the last year building to that moment. So it was really good to see.
And this has been fascinating, I think. I'm going to ask you a question about him in just a sec. What you were saying earlier about, it's a long season, all these games, they're coming thick and fast. I realised that the other day. I looked at the fixture list properly for the first time. There he is. Also, 2 screens. Oh, I tell you what. Oh.
Well, I got to thank my buddy Chris Moore at Vestel. Vestel has really come on large. He heard that I was on lockdown, and he brought me a second screen because he knows, like, nights like tonight where I like to watch our boys, and I also like to watch Liverpool in the Champions League.
There we go. I looked at the fixtures for the first time the other day, and I saw that we're finishing pretty much the same date we always finish, right at the start of May, yet we started later. And I wondered why.
Yes.
It's because from pretty much now on, we've got 2 games a week. Now, listen, if you're watching this, if you want to get involved, as I said, we've gone back to basics this week because we really miss you. I really miss like chatting in the Chairboys Village. Pete, I'm sure you miss like having a beer with the fans down there, hearing what they think, hearing what they want, hearing what they make of it. So if you want to get involved, look at the link.
For you, Dan. I got a question for you, Dan. Question for you, Dan. And I know you're one of those youngins who understands the social medias and the interwebs and all that stuff. And so I've heard of this thing called a hot take. I'm not sure this is a hot take. But after I've watched the last couple of matches on TV at home, I gotta say, I actually prefer behind closed doors matches suck. Watching live. There's nobody there. The atmosphere, it's interesting hearing the players, but I honestly prefer watching. If it's behind closed doors, I've actually really liked watching it on TV. This past weekend was fantastic, listening to Phil and Bill. I think Bill spoke for every single Chairboy fan out there watching that match.
I think he handled himself well. Handled himself well at the right point, didn't he? I fully agree with you. We're in a very, very lucky position to be here. So many people want to be here. It would be lovely to get everyone in. But I understand what you mean. I think sometimes it's nice to be where you are in front of your 2 screens, by the way. Right, I've kept you waiting long enough. If you want to get involved, you need to click on the link.
Who do we got?
First cab off the rank. Let's go to Liam, I think. Hey, Liam.
Hiya, you all right?
Yeah, very well, mate. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Well, listen, I put Matt on the spot earlier on with quite a brutal question, so I'm not going to get that harsh to you. But what have you made of the season so far? It's been a tricky start. What have you made?
Well, the Blackburn game was certainly a bring us down to earth moment, I think. The refereeing decisions don't get any better the higher up the leagues you go, do they? Let's just say that. It's just ridiculous. Some of the decisions are ridiculous. Even Sunday League refs, I'm sure, aren't that bad. As I'm sure Pete will testify.
Are you getting names, Pete? Are you getting names?
Well, I was about to write something down because I didn't want to forget to say it. But one of the old school sayings that I've heard that is perfect is players win matches, gaffers lose matches, refs ruin matches.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah, I feel you there. I understand as the host of this, I kind of need to skirt quite delicately around it. Well, listen, Liam, you're on with Pete. If you saw Pete in the Chairboys Village with a nice pint of rebellion in both of your hands, what would you ask him?
I guess I'll try and sort of ask a question that not many fans have asked, and
well, you can do that now, Liam. Go ahead.
Is there I guess one thing that you would do differently, a decision that maybe you would change now that you're with us?
Yeah, man. I'm sitting here. I'm watching the pregame, and there's Bayo. They just showed the set. They just showed the celebration from the championship.
I can't quite hear him from over here. You need to talk louder.
There you go.
Well, what I was saying is that they're showing the celebration from the championship right now as a part of the pregame here on the Sky Championship match for Wycombe, and it's live at Wycombe. I guess the answer is no. I mean, how could you? I don't even. There's no decision. Yeah, no decision.
There you go. Not nice and easy. Well, Liam, listen, mate. Thank you so much for. That was a softie, Liam. Well, yeah, Liam. Thank you so much for joining us, mate. If you want to get harder with your questions, get involved. Click the link that's below. There are a few people hanging around, but without getting boring and technical, I can't see. You've not turned your video on, so I can't see your faces. So I don't know who you are. I'm not just gonna throw any old random faceless person into here. So make sure you. And also, there's someone called Hornets Till I Die. You're probably not going to get on. I'll be honest with you, mate.
I'll take him.
No. I don't think so. Well, listen, Jaden, listen up. You're coming on. Jaden.
Hiya.
Hello, mate. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Hosting a YouTube show, mate. What have you made of the season so far?
I think, well, obviously it was going to be very tough to start off with, and obviously we can quite clearly see the step up in quality, and especially with like our opponents like Watford. I think they're brilliant. They've got so many good players in there, like Ismail Assar, Etienne Capoue, with plenty of Premier League experience. And I think that we've been playing really, really well the last couple of weeks, but we just need to score a few more goals maybe, and then we'll definitely be able to compete with some of the teams in this division.
That's what struck me massively. It's the step up. I mean, the step up in League 2 to League 1, I think we found it difficult at times, but this step, when you see, as you say, like Etienne Capoue, I mean, Troy Deeney's not in there today, but he could be playing. And when you see that, it really does bring it home.
Just want to point out right now that Watford's player wage budget is literally 10 times ours.
Yeah.
I know.
So, you know, but don't worry about it. Our boys are going to compete. Everybody understands what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, of course.
The Championship is the 5th most watched league in the world. It is one step away from the Premier League. And so there is an extreme amount of money that's been invested in a lot of these clubs. And you look at Norwich, what we did against them Saturday, took it to them. And that is a Premier League squad. 8 or 9 of their players played in the Premier League last year. Watford is so deep with Premier League players. I think they got 8 strikers that have played matches in the Premier League. It is the challenge, and watching our boys, and it's what they deserve. They won the right to play in the Championship. Watching our boys compete against these guys, even though the results have not come, has been awesome to watch, because they've done exactly what you would expect a quality Wycombe squad to do, which is play as hard as possible and grow every match. You know, is it crazy to think that tonight's the night we beat Watford at home? Yeah, I mean, it's possible for sure. I believe in the boys.
It's been absolutely stunning to see, isn't it? Yeah, hugely. I mean, it's been stunning to see, as you say, that growth every game, figuring something out, tweaking that, getting better, improving. That's what you say. Anyway, Jaden, that kind of derailed us. But listen, if you saw Pete wandering around Adams Park, if you could be here, what would you flag him down to ask him? You've got one question, Jaden. Take it away.
Cool. Ooh, put me on the spot here a bit, mate. I just free agents, really. Like we've said, we're in the market for free agents before. Like, is there any development on that?
I couldn't possibly comment. No, we just, you know, what we can say is free agency market continues. If somebody's not signed, they can sign right now. We are definitely out there. The championship squad limit is 25 plus 18 to 20 year olds that you have under contract. And we have 24 registered. So we have a spot available. We continue to look. One of the things that Rob and Gareth and Andrew and I all discussed was that being patient and finding the last piece to the puzzle would be critical, because we thought with the COVID and the pandemic and the effects on football in general, that there would be a lot of players available right now that aren't under contract, that we could have discussions with to be able to afford under Wycombe wages, which there's not a single person at this club that works for the club, that makes as much money as they could outside of the club. And it's the players, that's the staff, that's the coaches, that's everybody. And so, yeah, there's a 25th spot available, and we're constantly looking at the market.
There you go. Jaden, I think that answers your question in the most beautifully delicate way I've ever seen. So, Jaden, thank you so much for dropping by. If you want to get involved, you need to click on the link. We've got time for a few more, I reckon. We're going to fly over to Sean now. Hello, Sean. That's quite an angle, mate.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good. You look incredibly holy with that above your head, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, I just had to go to another light up room because everywhere else is just dark at the moment. And
well, yeah, you got a group of 6 watching the match with you tonight.
Dropped off. Not really got a group of 1 at the moment. Sean, I'm gonna have to drop you off there. Well, that's a shame, isn't it? So listen, if you want to get involved, there's still a little bit of time. Click the link. Pete, I was asking you about Anis earlier on. You mentioned him. It was quite a surprise, I felt, to see someone when we heard of this. I know you don't like to call it the B team, but when we heard of this, these extra players that we suddenly had at our disposal, to see one of them instantly chucked in, who we knew very little about. What have you heard from the training ground, from the boys? How good has he been in training to suddenly make that step up? Because, I mean, clearly, from what I've heard, they've been really impressed.
It is, well, if you think about the number of players that we have out there right now, and there's a 18-man match day squad, it is not easy to make that squad. And so the fact that not only has he been put on it 3 times, but made a couple of appearances, tells you everything you need to know. He seems to be a very humble dude, exactly like he's just got that. He's got that Wycombe character to him. And the cool thing is to see the older guys on our team take these younger guys under their wing, and bring them along, because they all realize, we've kind of got an interesting group of guys that have been all over the place, that have a lot of different experiences. And so, and we're one of the few professional clubs that didn't have a younger group to sort of have under, the older guys like this. And so I think they looked at it. It's just worked perfectly so far. And, just to see one of the guys break through that quickly, it's a little surprising, to be completely honest, because, again, we do think of things from an analytics perspective. And so when we were thinking about how many guys it would take to bring in, to find 5 or 6 guys that would fit in and be able to grow and maybe hopefully eventually step up, what were our preseason expectations? Hopefully 1 out of, we wanted to find 5 out of 50. We did. We were hoping that, eventually one of those guys would work out, get some appearances, and we thought that would be successful. So it's almost like a repeat of what happened last year with, we set expectations very high, and just sort of, but as a longer term, we set high expectations long term and reached them quicker than we thought we could have on both fronts.
Yeah, I think that's fair. No one expected us to be here. And it's just lovely to be around these big names, isn't it? Listen, before we go, let's just quickly fly around the comments, see where you're watching from. A few have taken my eye. Hello to Anthony, who's in Cyprus. Yeah. Hello to Ian in sunny Bradford. Also, thank you so much for watching. Kevin over in Ireland. Listen, wherever you are today, we are on Sky. Grab your iFollow passes if you have not done that yet. It's been nice to chat to you. It's been nice to get back to basics, to help you ask some questions to Pete. Pete, we've got about a minute. Anything that you want to leave us with?
No, just keep believing. Another tough opponent. It's a championship opponent. Every single match that we've got on the league schedule looks like an FA Cup semifinal. Keep believing in the boys. I can promise you this: every time that 11 Wycombe Wanderers step on the pitch in the championship, they're going to give their all for Gareth, and we will get our points. And tonight, I think, is the night.
Yes, let's get the points because it's Guilherme Paz's birthday. So happy birthday to you. Thank you so much for watching. 15 minutes to kick off. Wycombe take on Watford. Premier League, League One last year, plays Premier League from last year. It's going to be a big, tough, fun game. Have fun watching wherever you are. Look out your window if you're near Wycombe. See if you can see 3/4 of the amazing lights that we've got knocking around at Adams Park.
Pete, boys.
Stay safe, Pete. I'll see you soon. Stay safe, Pete.
Cheers.
See you soon. See you later. Thanks.